with TYT Politics. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm doing a kitchen report. That's how me and Jordan do things here. Kitchen reports live from my mom's kitchen. So just giving you the latest Hillary Clinton updates. Jordan is in Standing Rock right now. So I am on the beat of the WikiLeaks. This is not a WikiLeaks related story. Well, it is a WikiLeaks related story, but I don't think this is actually from the leaks today. I kind of seen some of this stuff beforehand, but an article by Walker Bragman from Paste Magazine really put it together. I actually just spoke to him, so definitely go check out that article, Paste Magazine by Walter Bragman, Walker Bragman, Bragman. So again, go check out Jordan's Standing Rock videos. They're really great. And then also go and check out this article that I'm about to be citing. So, as everybody knows, campaign finance laws are a mess. I think I know kind of better than anybody because I actually wrote my thesis on campaign finance and all of the minutia of campaign finance law and how we got to this particular point, how corporations first became people, and then how they got voting rights, how it was deemed that they had inalienable rights endowed by their creator as human beings. They obviously do not, but since really the 1970s, campaign finance law has been in free fall and has allowed for just rampant corruption on both sides of the aisle, really starting way more with the Republican Party and has become, I have broccoli in my teeth? No, I don't. I didn't even eat broccoli. Anyway, are you just saying that to mess with me? Basically, campaign finance law has been in free fall since the 70s, since a series of decisions, Bilotti. Come on, guys. Oh, I do. That's embarrassing. I got it. Since Bilotti, since Buckley v. Vallejo, we've had basically campaign finance laws have been in free fall. The broccoli thing really got to me. It was actually an avocado. I actually wrote about this for my senior thesis, and I wanted to quote it because I know that's that's obnoxious and kind of self-aggrandizing, but I actually think that I was able to succinctly put what I want to say in this video in my own paper. So basically, you can't coordinate with super PACs. That's what makes this legal. That's what makes it not have corruption or the appearance of corruption. It's a very fine line that we walk to attempt to look like it's not corrupting, but it really is. So basically, since in the Citizens United decision, which was actually about a film about Hillary Clinton, Citizens United is a right-wing propaganda outlet that allowed for them to spew kind of nonsense about Hillary Clinton and make this very propaganda-esque documentary. There are things to criticize her about, certainly, but they did not do an accurate job of portraying that. However, they were being blocked by the FEC in trying to create that documentary, and they said basically, this violates the very specific purviews that we have of coordination of buying elections. Citizens United ended up winning, and the reasoning for that was Justice Kennedy, who people say is a swing justice. I think he's obviously very right-wing, and he basically made the case that independent expenditures by outside groups is not corruption. So I'll just read to you guys a little bit so you can get context of this article by Walker Bragman. The court in Citizens United found that the only legitimate reason to restrict independent funding, which is PACs and super PACs spending money on elections, is the corruption or the appearance of corruption, to prevent corruption or the appearance of corruption, as outlined in Buckley v. Vallejo, which was a 1970s decision. Preventing corruption or the appearance of corruption is a sufficiently important government interest. So, in case you guys don't really know how case law works, to limit a fundamental right like free speech, you have to have a sufficiently important government interest, or you have to have a compelling state interest. It's usually called the compelling state interest rule. You have if you're trying to prevent someone from speaking, for example, they can't shout fire in a crowded theater because that is a compelling enough state interest to protect the safety of everyone involved in that theater, of everyone sitting in that theater. Do you get what I'm saying? So because that is enough of an important state interest, then you can prevent people's free speech. So what was ruled in Buckley v. Vallejo and what was expanded upon in Citizens United is that to limit a corporation's free speech, you have to have a compelling state interest. And what that compelling state interest is in Buckley v. Vallejo is preventing corruption or the appearance of corruption. What Kennedy said was that Citizens United and corporations and huge super PACs spending money on the outside on elections doesn't corrupt elections, Kennedy said, and it also doesn't give off the appearance of corruption, is what he said. As long as those PACs are not coordinating with the campaigns directly, it is legal because it is not giving off corruption or the appearance of corruption. That is the framework, the legal framework that was established in Citizens United. Now let's see if Hillary Clinton followed that framework. This article is entitled "John Podesta Discussed Super PAC Coordination in Email with Hillary Clinton." Again, Walker Bragman, gosh, I really want to plug him because this is his article. Pace Magazine. Hillary Clinton's campaign has often been accused of illegal coordination with super PACs, and in fact, hacked emails have all but proved the connection. Even though, correct the record, a pro-Clinton super PAC owned by David Brock founded Media Matters, which basically looks out at Fox News and right-wing right-wing media and calls them out on their bullshit, but they are very much in the tank of Hillary Clinton. Of course, they're not calling out their pro-Clinton bullshit on CNN and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so David Brock, so even though correct the record, a pro-Clinton super PAC owned by David Brock has publicly acknowledged that it participates in this kind of activity, the campaign has always denied the allegations. But newly released emails by WikiLeaks reveal a different story. The whistleblower group has been a thorn in Clinton's side for several months now, and its latest release is damning. On May 2nd, 2016, the New York Times published an article titled "FEC Can't Curb 2016 Election Abuse," Commission Chief says, explaining how the Federal Election Commission was paralyzed by partisan difference among its 6 commissioners. The report also detailed how campaigns were increasingly willing to violate federal election law prohibiting campaign coordination with super PACs. An illuminating exchange from May 3rd showed between Clinton, her campaign chair John Podesta, and campaign manager Robbie Mook shows that the three privately discussed about the Times article in relation to their coordination with super PACs and decided how to proceed. So the article was about how the FEC is having a very difficult time reining in this kind of outside coordination. And they send this email around and basically discuss how to proceed from there, from this new revelations that the FEC is basically hamstrung and inept. This is what John Podesta says. "I have no magical solutions other than execution. Elias, who's their legal advisor, may have some legal ideas to slow them down. We have 3 things we have to do. Raise the primary money by expanding the bundler network, get priorities functional, use this to scare our people into giving bigger sums. We need to get WJC, William Jefferson Clinton, into the mix sooner. We should also ask BHO, Barack Hussein Obama, to do more in light of this, although they are kind of prissy about how they approach this. Obviously, because Barack Obama does not want to get involved publicly, although he was behind the scenes, get involved in the primary process when the primary process was not even over. Priorities, we should note, this is the article again, is Priorities USA Action, the largest Democratic Party super PAC, and though it obviously supports Clinton's presidential bid, it is clearly against the rules for her campaign to coordinate with them directly. As I outlined to you before, the only reason that this is the fine line that this is kept as legal in the eyes of the court, in the eyes of Anthony Kennedy and the conservative justices, is when there is no direct coordination. There is, as evidenced by this email, a suggestion, at the very least, of direct coordination. Nevertheless, that's exactly what Podesta is outlining, and if you were waiting for Clinton or the other staffers on this distribution to be shocked, you might be waiting a long, lonely time. Thank you, Walker. Mook replies, adding Elias, I agree with you, John. I think we focus hard on raising as much as we can and then throw the kitchen sink at everyone who we believe steps over the line, understanding that has limited impact. In a follow-up email, Elias, the campaign's general counsel, responded, offering them among other things, this suggestion. Per John's question below, there is one legal tool we could use that might slow them down. This law has a little notice or use provision that says if a complaint has been filed and it is either dismissed or not acted upon within 120 days, the entity that filed the complaint can sue the FEC to force it to proceed with enforcement. If the FEC fails to move forward, then the complainant is permitted to bring their own lawsuit to enforce the law directly. If it were announced this week that that was the path we intended to take, it would both make news and perhaps give pause to the groups. Is that something we want to push forward? If so, would we want the DNC to do it, the campaign, or would we prefer it to be done externally? It would be hailed by the reform groups, but it is a significant step in legal escalation and would certainly result in similar action against priorities at all. Palmieri writes back that she wants to do a meeting about it. This exchange, in which the campaign is essentially discussing the best way to slow Republicans coordinating with super PACs without themselves getting burned for the same kind of activity, reveals 2 points. One, the Clinton campaign knowingly coordinates with super PACs. I don't think that it directly shows that, but there's no smoking gun in that sense. There's no an exchange with priorities, no exchange directly with the super PACs, but there is certainly evidence that they do so. And are we surprised? Are we surprised? This fine line that was set up by Anthony Kennedy in the Supreme Court is not a fine line at all. It's just an excuse for people to go balls to the wall and do whatever they want with campaign finance. I'll continue with the article. We've already known for several weeks that Podesta was aware of the campaign's illegal coordination. The Intercept reported on several emails released earlier this month that demonstrate as much beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, however, we see the campaign chair discussing it openly in an email exchange with Clinton herself, along with Mook, Elias, and Palmieri. Podesta's suggestion to Priorities USA Action functional while using legal tools to slow the GOP down, along with Elias's words of warning to take care of the campaign, does not hurt itself in the process because of that super PAC's activities, is as much of a smoking gun as has been found in the WikiLeaks release to date. Well, there will be more that I will be reporting on. But that's really the gist of this particular article. So what's so ironic is that the Citizens United decision was, the whole subject of that case was about Hillary Clinton. She was on the opposite side. She was on the good side. But when those kind of decisions benefit her, then we have a bit of a different story. How do we exploit it? How can we hammer the GOP for it while still doing the same thing ourselves? So Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are just as guilty. I don't think they don't get as much money because they play good cop to the Republicans' bad cop, but they're just as guilty as of exploiting these loose legalized corruption lines that have been outlined in decisions like Citizens United, starting really with the decisions in the 70s, which are really Bellotti and Buckley. Recently, a few months ago, Scott Walker was hammered for being shown, specifically him, to be directly coordinating with a super PAC in Wisconsin. He was hammered by The Guardian. Will he receive any legal ramifications for his complete disregard of the law? No. Will Hillary Clinton receive any legal ramifications for her and her campaign's apparent disregard of the law? No. Why? Because Washington is built on this system, is built on the insane corruption and the coordination between corporations, PACs, and candidates. It's unspoken. Shh. The Supreme Court says in fine print that as long as we're not directly coordinating with them, there is no corruption or appearance of corruption. Thank you for those legal somersaults and cartwheels, Aly Raisman. Just kidding, Anthony Kennedy. Weird gymnastics reference. I just guess I watched too much Olympics this summer. But it's an unspoken thing. Corruption, this isn't corruption. They don't think it is. They think that this is business as usual. And Hillary Clinton and the people on her staff are just trying to exploit these rules to their advantage. So when you hear her say that her litmus test for the Supreme Court justices is, will they do away with Citizens United, just know that, one, that may not be true, and two, if it is, there's a long, long way to go with campaign finance law that does not just have to do with Citizens United. We have to get a constitutional amendment to get rid of stuff like this. We also have to get overturn all those decisions. Bellotti, Buckley, Hobby Lobby, Citizens United. There's a lot of legal, there's a long way to go legally to get actually more transparency and more accountability in her elections. When I hear her say, my litmus test is if they'll overturn Citizens United, that's not enough to get money out of politics. It's honestly not even close. And from what these emails show, her campaign doesn't even respect the framework set up by Citizens United. They go further. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. Sorry about that entire avocado situation. It may have been a blueberry. It was a little dark. I had blueberries and avocado. Do you guys see how healthy I am? I'm not healthy. I ate Tostitos for dinner last night, so. All right, guys, have a great day.